Hey guys, I'm Vulture Culture, and welcome to tonight's live stream where we will be making Akira Yamaoka Silent Hill 2 inspired music with the very synthesizer that Akira Yamaoka used to create the music for that game. He also had a Yamaha EX5, which I used to have in the studio, but this is the main one. If you go back and watch those old making of documentaries on Silent Hill 2, you'll see that he had this and a stack of sample CDs. So if you'll do me the favor and get your little fingers out of the comments where someone's already typing, he used sample CDs to make the music of the... Yes, I know he did. He used Spectrasonics, Bizarre Guitar, and Distorted Reality quite a bit to create those soundtracks. But he also used this synth. And they also used this synth. Eric Persing, who designed the synth, also designed those libraries, used this synth to create those libraries. So the goal for tonight is not like what a million other YouTubers have done, which is to show you like, okay, here's the samples, and if you like copy and paste those samples, you'll sound like Akira. No, tonight we're going to actually show you how to use a synthesizer like this from 1991 or whatever synthesizer you have to be able to create the same sort of vibe. So if you're looking for a free version, I've actually put a link in the description to Nils Schneider's K1 emulation. So the Kwai K1, really cool synthesizer that's kind of in the same sonic palette. So if you want to get these types of sounds and you don't want to spend all the money on a vintage synthesizer, that's a really cool plugin that's completely free. So I would use that and go along with that. Yes, it is. We'll jump into how to create sounds like this. So this one is basically creating the Daybreak sample from Distorted Reality. So you'll probably then, Aquatic Borealis, recognize some music that we're going to go through today for sure. So here are some of the other patches I created. I created this hit, which is very much like the type of thing you'd hear all over the soundtrack. I created a bass line, which I was happy to hear that the JD800 could create really thick, deep bass like that, because when we checked out the presets before on this synth, they are a little bit lacking. And then I created this Restless Dream pad, which has those looping, detuned wind chimes in there that give it that extra little bit of interest. And then the guitar. Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that. Dub. All that she wants is a JD800 for Christmas, right? So with that, why don't we jump in real quick over. So yeah, that's a type of like thing that Akira uses all over the place. And this was, I believe, the first Roland synthesizer to have any distortion in it built in as an effect. So I also have over here, we're jumping into Reaper, and just below the synth here, I have a little drum loop that I have used from Butch Viggs, the producer of Nirvana's Nevermind, has a drum loop pack. And so we're going to start with that. It's 70 BPM. The intro is like 75. You could probably go up to like 85. So there's definitely this trip hop influence on what we're doing, for sure. And so one of the things about this genre, there's like a few different types of music that Akira did. Like some of it's like alt rock grunge with Mary Elizabeth McGlynn singing, right? That's kind of one mode he goes into. But we're doing the sort of spooky down-tempo jam type thing. So I think the first thing we need, it doesn't seem to be Super Compooper. I don't believe it's gotten very good reviews. I think it's got like an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. So we're going to just start with an initialized patch and create a sound sort of like Daybreak, but not exactly the same. And the idea is using the different oscillators pitched apart to be able to make something interesting, and also using the bandpass filter as opposed to a low pass filter. So when you initialize a patch, you get what you're expecting, right? You're getting a sawtooth wave. And the way you can tell which tone is on, or you can think of it as an oscillator, it's over here. So we have 4, and we can turn all 4 on, and it's just going to be louder. And then if I swap to layer active when it's flashing, that shows you which one that we're editing at the moment, right? So we're editing layer A. So why don't we go through and pick one of the breathier waveforms, and I don't know if you guys can read this down here. One's called Spark Vox. It's actually not too bad. It's kind of actually could be useful. Kind of breathy sort of sound. And I didn't mean to put velocity on that. Where is that in the TVA over here? I could see envelope velocity. Let me just bring that down actually. Oh, it's jumping. I've got one of the beautiful things about a vintage synth is you're going to have jumpy stuff. So looking at that waveform, that's waveform 44. So why don't we select all of our waves and go to 44. And now if I turn them all on, we'll hear just a really loud that. We have this really useful pitch random function on the JD800. This doesn't exist on the D50. By the way, you'll sort of pick up on how to make these sounds on a JD800 just from the stream. But if you want a really in-depth tutorial, I've done a D50 tutorial, and the synths are almost identical. This is actually easier than the D50 mostly. So if you want to get like super deep into it, then you can watch that video I've done. So if we add pitch random, it just breaks up the pitch there. And it is a digital synth, so we're going to hear that kind of digital phasiness. So the first thing I'm going to do is take all of these down to -12 semitones. Pretty badass sounding, actually. And then we're going to, one at a time, modify them so we get interesting intervals. So I think -5 will be, or let's go with -9. That'll be a third. Let's bring the randomness down a bit, actually, on all of them. I think it's a little too much for now. All right, then oscillator C, we're going to take up to the 7th, which is going to be -2. So what we're trying to make is a 9th chord, right? So if you're not super familiar with music theory, it's basically the root note, a minor third, the 5th, the flat 7th, and then the 9th or the 2nd up an octave. That's a 9th chord, and it's used all over the place in Yamaoka's music because it's all over the place in distorted reality. I don't know if any other digital synth has as many dedicated controls, Dub. I think this is about it. Yeah, it's crazy. I want to say 56 sliders or something. And then so for this last one, we're going to bring that up to +2. I should have bring that up to +2. I think should do it. Let's see. Yeah, so that's how we can make that sort of a sound, right? And Akira said when he was making the games that he wanted to avoid harmony. But what he really did was he didn't avoid harmony. Can I get a scum cheers in the chat, by the way? He actually really embraced parallel harmony, which is where you have the same chord on different degrees of a scale. Sort of outside, almost prog rock type sound to it. Now, for fun, let's go ahead and change this note, and we're going to go down to -5. So we're going to get rid of that 7th. So it's a different kind of sound. I don't want to go for exactly the same one we created in the intro, right? That's kind of boring. Let's add some release. I'm going to grab the time 4 sliders. Both, here's the sliders for the amplifier, and here's the sliders for the filter. These are 6-stage envelopes with multiple levels. So you've basically got the peak, sustain 1, sustain 2, and then even if you want the release to go up when you let go of the key instead of down, you can do so, which is super cool. But what we could do is bring the T4 or the release up on both of these. Oh, I need to be editing all of these. That's the... And I'll put it into solo too. We're never going to be playing more than one note at a time. How's it going? How's it going? Hello, welcome. So from there, we need some width, right? It's getting a little there, you know, it's a little narrow. So let's just route this to the echo. And if you want to see what I'm using for an echo, I'm using Valhalla delay. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by that. And we have a really low 25 kilohertz cutoff. And a lot of wow and flutter to emulate the sound of my vintage tape echoes. All right, so that's already helping. Another thing we could do real quick, let me just mute that, is we could actually use the effects that are built in to the synth. So if we go to effects over here and we scroll up a couple of pages, we can then turn on the chorus here. And if we want to get more granular with it, we can actually go into the chorus setup. So this is like the effects and things are a little bit more menu divey than they are on the D50 actually, which is kind of frustrating. However, I think the default chorus sound is like perfect. So let's just go with that. And then if I unmute the echoes here, we can get... And that's even how we create a little lick for ourselves. So I'm going to go to right, yes, and now we've saved that so that we don't lose it in case I, mess up. But one thing about that type of sample is it's been filtered pretty heavily. So why don't we go into and make sure that we're editing all the layers at once, right? Let's go to the bandpass filter and find a frequency we like. I'm going to turn key follow. You can actually go above 100%. I don't know if you guys can see that. I think you guys can actually today. But we're going to just go to 100% key tracking. So what that's going to do is it's going to move the bandpass filter as we go up and down the keys. And so what we're looking for is to find that frequency that's in the mid-range that's kind of interesting, but not too thin. That's the thing about a bandpass filter. Sounds very nice. So a drone like this, actually a sus2 chord, is what was used in the forest intro to the game. So after you've left the bathroom and he talks about getting the letter from Mary, he then walks through the forest through the fog into the town, and you hear a really detuned sus2 chord, which is super dark. Let's see how it sounds with resonance. All right, we just need to make sure that we have some release to that. Wow, that sounds so cool. Let's just add a little bit of attack, so that's T1, just a little bit. See how you're getting that little pop on the front? Oh yeah, this is good. This is a good thing. Let's go ahead and save that. And I'll put patch names in this later, but for now, I think that sounds... really spooky and great for a deep drone. So let's go ahead and record it. Fuck it, I think that's a perfectly good place to start. Or would it be better up an octave? We'll go for F minor, I think. We'll go for F minor. I think that's better. And I'm going to just add a couple more. Let's go ahead and record it at F. Oh yeah, sounds tough. Wow, such a cool sound to start with. Very happy that worked out as well as it did. So in the DAW, I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm going to take it out of record and delete it on the front one. So now we're going to just call this Spooky Drone. So, of course, drones are a big part of Akira Yamaoka's music, right? I don't think that's going to surprise anybody. I'm going to go ahead and shrink this a bit just so you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Maybe, yeah, that's fine. So you can see what we have going on here, and we can make ourselves a little loop. And yeah, very, very cool. So that's one sound done very quickly. Let's jump back to the synth, and then we're going to go into patch 8 here. And we can also just turn off the echoes at first. So what we need next is, oh, wave sequencer is here. How's it going? Yeah, sliders are great for envelopes especially. And, you know, one of the reasons why no one makes synths with this many sliders and faders is because this synth didn't do well, right? How many synths have this much control? Very few, and it's because they're very expensive, and if they don't sell well, you're kind of fucked, you know? And yeah, that's kind of how that works. So now we need to make a pad sound, right? So we're going to do kind of the same sort of approach. We're going to pick different waveforms. And people will say things like you can't do pulse width modulation on the JD800, and that's sort of true, but we do actually have pulse width modulation sampled into the synthesizer. And there's also one called, I want to say, soft pad here. Oh my God, aftertouch, amplitude, here, where the fuck is that? I've got, unfortunately, a very jumpy slider somewhere on the synth that's messing with some stuff. That's aftertouch sensitivity. Where is the... Somewhere around here, there's the velocity. Oh, it's probably up here. It's probably right here. There we go. Let's just leave that be. Anyways. Let's find something that would be good for a... What are we in? F minor? We have a fifth kind of built into this EML. Oh, this one's really cool down low. Do you recognize that sound from Ocarina of Time? That's the sound of teleporting. Yeah, they had to save money on the glue. And that's a perfect time to remind everybody, if you're thinking about buying one of these things, can I get a shout out? Can I get a scum cheers for Dub Station Zero? If you're going to buy a JD800, just make sure it doesn't have the red glue problem. Cheers. So this is a very cool one, actually, with a fine wine. So why don't we use that for waveform 1? And I want to play this chord up here, so we're going to have to definitely drop that down to -4. Now I'm going to turn that off and then go to layer B only. And we're going to keep going. Of course, those sound so good. We do have some waves that are samples, like more attacks. Which will be useful more for like the E-piano type stuff. We'll get to that. Oh, this must be what it is. Yeah. Ooh, bottle blow. We might blow some bottles. The Shakuhachi attack. Really like this pitched wind. I haven't checked it out yet, Synthenon. Metal wind is super cool too. It's kind of that Proteus Infinite 1 sound. Then we have ink lungs. So we can rip off the universe patch from the M1. And then we have wind chimes, which are the key to that Iceman patch, right? So in this case, I want to go back to that blown bottle. Let's turn tone A on. Let's go find tone C and edit that. I want that Shakuhachi attack just to see. Kind of there, it reminds me of the sound that a Velociraptor makes when it calls up to its friends. Yeah, that creature, the lying figure jumps out from under the van. That's awesome. I would love, I've always been hunting for the CD version of Distorted Reality. I haven't been able to find it. Sometimes you'll find like an Akai version, but that doesn't have all of the sounds in it. So that's tone C, and let's go for tone D now. Let's go for one of those crazy metal wind sounds. I'm doing these one at a time, by the way, because if you do, you could do them all at once, but this poor CPU can't handle that. So throat wind's cool. All right, so we've got 4 parts now, and what we can do is turn them all on. And go to level here. Now, something interesting about this palette, it can be a little confusing for me, is you can actually control, even when you're editing one of the layers, like let's say I'm only editing layer D, I can still control whatever active parameter I'm on of tone A, B, and C. So I'm going to bring it all down, and yeah, so now we're hearing nothing. So even though I'm only editing tone D, I can still control. And then I'm going to just pitch that wind around. And bring it really quiet. Oh, see, now I'm editing accidentally the pitch here. I think that's probably okay, and then I'll just bring that level. There we go. So if we go for F. So we have ourselves. We might still be a little bit loud. It's actually pretty easy to clip this motherfucker, so. Yeah, let's keep it from clipping. Internally, clipping's not always bad, but. So, that's perfect. Let's bring in the filter. Let me make sure I'm selecting all the layers. Let's add some randomness, right? Just a bit. And it's very easy to kill everything. And then we'll add some envelope amount. There is built-in distortion in this, Shane. It actually, obviously the, what am I thinking of? The Voodoo People lead uses it. But it would be fun to just run it through like a Russian Big Muff or something like that. So let's create some shape. Let's bring the sustain level down. Let's in fact bring everything down, level 1 up, time 1 down. So now we have just a very tight pluck. And let's add some release, kind of like equivalent amounts of release. Let's add some resonance and see what happens. So we need to bring those levels down further, I think. If we want to bring in that resonance, right? So definitely you could hear that grittiness already in there. Let's make sure I've got that key following on too. Not quite as much. So really cold, icy shit, you know? But that's kind of good for this spooky style of music, right? Because so let's go, it's kind of same trick here. We're going to go through the first few pages of this and then just turn on the chorus and see how that sounds. I mean, if you play happy ass chords, right, you know? It's really not that bad of a pad, right? But then if you play, you know, spooky chords. So I want to kind of do maybe a suspended. Or maybe we'll suspend more like this. Add some attack to that. Yeah, it's just like a nice soft to the sound. And then let's just, I'm just curious where we're at relative to the track that we have. In this Phrygian thing. Phrygian dominant thing. Too, if we go level 4 up, now when we take our fingers off the keys, the release or the filter will open. So I like. chord structure we want to have here. One chord there, but oh, we could go octatonic with it. Has that weird yeah, octatonic. So what's going on here is at first I thought we were kind of in a Phrygian dominant. Sort of like Stargate sort of chord structure, but I actually think we're in an even more spooky type of, so a lot of people call this like a diminished scale. I always think it was octatonic because it has 8 notes instead of 7. Something like that. So it's got this even more outside sort of sound. You could also play another variant on this would be playing a whole tone scale. So that's a very dreamy sort of scale as well. Yeah, I don't write melodies often first because I like knowing where I'm going harmonically, but there's no right or wrong way to do it. In fact, maybe next time I'll do the melody first just for the fuck of it. So let's go ahead and record that now and see what we've got. So we're starting on this weird run of minor chord. And then we go up a half step to a minor chord. And then down a full step, but still minor chord. So it's all minor. So it's kind of the opposite of the first one. So now we have ourselves a little lick that sounds like that. And let's go ahead and just turn that on and send it to the echo. And we'll just duplicate that. So I should be showing you guys what I'm doing in here. Duplicate that, take it out. We're going to call this, the, well, I guess I had spooky drones. So we're going to have a spooky pad. Have I saved this yet? Let's save it. Make sure we've got it. So yeah, it could sound very beautiful actually, but it could also sound very, very spooky. Also, let me take all of this out of here. So we have, we have some layers in here. I'm almost wondering if it should have been up an octave. It kind of seems a little dark. So. Yeah, I think I should have done it up an octave. Well, that's fine because we could just play it again. So let's do that. little touchy, perhaps. Let's bring that down. Touchy. Interesting. Let's slow that one down. Oh, level 2. That's what it should be. It's amazing what a difference that makes on all of those guys. Let's try 80s. I think that will probably work. What's up, Hans? Yeah, that's about right on the decay. I want that one because it kind of has the loop built in. So we got a little release from the previous take on that one, which is useful. And we could turn it really far down now because it's so high. Get rid of that. Well, so one of the reasons it's great, Jack, to design your own sounds is like what we just did there, where the decay time on the filter was a little off. So if you're just using presets, you know, the preset designer doesn't know exactly what you need for the track. With this one, I massaged it into that perfect sort of decay, and we've got this 6-stage envelope, so we're able to really control how the decay on that filter is for this particular piece of music. 70 BPM is a weird BPM. You're not going to hear that everywhere. Oh, I send it to the echo. That's a spooky vibe. Can I get a scum cheers to this motherfucker? So we can go a couple of different ways. Would you guys prefer more of a piano or more of a E-piano type keys sound? Because I think that's what we would get in here from Akira. We get some sort of spooky keys type sound of some sort. So I actually have a patch list over here. Let me go look real quick and see. We could do like nylon guitar type stuff as well. We have piano attack, EP hard clear keys. I know there's a piano in here, isn't there? I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. There is piano attack. So maybe we could do a bit of like a hybrid between the two. We want to be in the 70s for that, I think. Somewhere in there. Ooh, Vicent. That's one of those ones I've always wanted to go with. Okay. Tripwell says E piano, so let's go for it. Keith, icy keys. So we could do that. We can do both of those. So this time what I'm going to do is select all of the layers and just get ourselves into the 70s, which takes a bit for this to catch up. You'll see that there we go. It got to 38. Okay, let's go to the 70. I'm going to turn the echo down again. That's that piano. Oh, that's what it is. It's multi-sampled. Actually sounds pretty good. Here's so I don't know if this was sampled from a DX7. It seems like it could have been. This is more of... Okay, so let's go with 72 and 71. So 70, that can be 72. Let's just listen to tone C now. And... we can cowbell. Oh, I did not mean to pitch envelope level. So again, jumpy faders here. Where is that pitch? Pitch envelope. Just set all of these to 0 and see what happens. I did not mean to do that. There we go. So this will be an interesting kind of flavor to have in there. So let's go to D and get something really bright. If you want it to be icy. I'm thinking this up an octave. Or why don't we use one of those vocal waveforms? Okay, so now we've got 4 levels. Why don't we go ahead and blend those now? Make sure that we have all of our layers on. And now... set it just C and control the pitch on that too. Or we could go the opposite way. Oh, I kind of like this. So these two more inharmonic sounds are 4 octaves apart. Giving us a really interesting sort of flavor. Going back to the blend there. Let's change that piano octave as well. Again, if we play happy things, you know, it's not that bad, but we're going to make it, you know, fucking scary. So let's go into the effects now. Same trick, just go into the chorus. You know, you could go more interesting with this for sure. But for now, so this is my, you can hear the bit of delay that's in that chorus. Sounds good. Very icy. I think this meets the criteria icy. Let's bring the cutoff frequency down on all of them. Same thing, key follow. Let's go 50% on the key follow, so not as extreme. Have a good night, Synthenon. If we increase the resonance, that's ice. Maybe just a little. Bring the sustain level down. Definitely add some time to it. So, very pretty sound, actually. Let's go ahead and save that as well. Oh, and we should definitely use some velocity to the filter now, because otherwise it's not going to sound right. So, I'm liking it. Let me turn off, and we're just listening to C and D now. I like that, but the C... So just on layer C, I want to bring the cutoff down further. And that's the beautiful thing about the synth is we can do that. We can just kind of clean up that. Let's go ahead and write that. This is sort of a beautiful scum cheers in the chat for ice. Not, whoa, I didn't mean to say that. You guys would know what I mean. Icy synth sounds. We love a good icy synth sound. Let's go ahead. I think that's pretty good. We could try pitch random on all of them. See if that adds anything. You get really out there. So I mean, if we put pitch random all the way up, we can get some really great, sample that or whatever, but just a little bit. Little bit of additional chorusing in there to break up the digitalness. It's really an awesome slider in the sense that it just kind of works. Okay. Now we have to kind of get away from what we just did. So I'm going to, in the DAW, duplicate. I'm not paying attention to which. We're going to call this Icy Piano. And make sure we're routing this to the echo. Lots of noise, lots of wow and flutter to that to give it that sound. And now we got to go into the darkness. harmony is really weird. Let's go ahead and get a lick of that in this. Naturally, I tend to want to jump on it a little too much, so I'm trying my best to lay it into the groove. Finally, thank you guys for your patience on that one, but you know, takes a second sometimes to get what you need. I think that's a pretty good one, and then we can bring it down a bit. I do think I think the toy piano Not So Icy would fit in better. Well, we haven't even touched any EQ or anything, so. But part of why I like the iciness is we can bring it really low in the mix. What we need now is we need some sort of big, dark, impacty type thing. So let's go ahead and write this. Just make sure that we've saved it. And then we're going to go to a new patch. Let's go edit all of our layers at once. Make sure we're in that sub-octave range, and then we can go in. We could go into this PWM setting. But I actually think just this this good old square wave will work. Now, we already have that drone eating up that low end, so I'm probably going to... Maybe we'll fuck around with a high pass filter. Let's do that. So we're not going to go quite as low. In fact, what I want to do is take that. Let's mute everything right now except for the drone. Let's see if I did that right. And what I'm going to do on this drone real quick here is Pro Q4. Let's just open this up and add a little extra low end. We'll just select a low shelf. Really bring that in. Probably not even that much. Maybe just 3 decibels, but just kind of fit it into that space a little bit better. Real simple EQ stuff. Look, I'm a mastering engineer. My temptation is to go through and get real granular, but I always try to keep these streams kind of fast. Now, when it comes to fitting in the synth sound, right? Somewhere right around 45 isn't conflicting too bad. I like it. So, what we're going to do, maybe even a little higher. Let's see. We're going to increase the envelope, right? I'm actually adding just a little bit. Yeah, maybe 50 is better. And then just slow it down a little. I believe you're right, wave sequencer, and I believe that's remedied on the JD990. I heard that in the comment section. Take it with a grain of salt. Let's add pitch random to that. Lonnie, there is no ring modulation on this synthesizer. We could do it in post, of course. So the D50 has ring modulation and the JD990 has ring modulation, but sadly the JD800 does not. I should be zoomed in here, shouldn't I? Oh, there we go. I don't have all my layers active. So we don't have PWM, but... it in solo again. Take a little of the attack off. That's probably better, like picking up that higher What really upsets me about Roland not modeling this filter is it's really unique and interesting sounding. Very digital, but not common, I guess is what I would say. Okay, would I compare it to the JP8000? No, I wouldn't. The JP8000 is a very much the sound of that trance music from that era. I wouldn't say I love the sound of the filter as much as the JD800. Although, yeah, no, I mean, they don't sound that similar. Although I would give you, if we're just comparing the entire lexicon of Roland synths, you could make an argument that the JD800 sounds closer to the JP8000 than it does to a Jupiter 8, let's say, for sure. So that's a thing. Jumping over here to the DAW, which was my take that was actually good. It was this one. So here we are. No, that one was good. So let's just go ahead and do that and this, and we'll duplicate this, and we'll take that out. We'll call this high pass sweep. There we go. And then let's go ahead and drag this out down here. All the way out. Let's try to clean this up for you guys a little bit. Something like that, so we can see what we've got here. And now we're going to have to definitely fit this into the mix a little more. How's it going, Sean? like it. It's still a little high mids. So what I'm going to do I have a tilt EQ? I think I do. So if I do that, yeah, I'll just tilt everything so you could go brighter or darker. Let's see how we feel about that. It's actually so good we can bring the high cut up a little. Let's listen to that with and without the EQ on it. Because although Akira didn't have a memory Moog at the time, he later did acquire a memory Moog. So he is a fan of those big analog sounds. So just using that tilt EQ, by the way, guys, really great secret hack, whatever you want to call it, to take a digital synth like this and just sheet code it into sounding more analog, right? That's a pretty good way to do that if you had to, had to make it happen. That's not a terrible thing right there. So we've got a pretty good little jam here. Hey, Trip, take care, okay, man? All right, so just make sure I wrote that. Now, saxophone melody for Sean. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Is there a saxophone? I'm going to look up real quick and just see. We got analog waves, digital waves, samples of organs, hits. I don't think we have a saxophone, which is funny because even the DW8000 had a saxophone. Maybe by 1991, they're like, whatever we do, let's not put a saxophone in it. There is a tuba slap. French horn. There's a flugel wave and a French horn. That might take us where we need to go. So let's go ahead and try that out. I'm going to jump back over here. Right after is when it sucks. Let's try to make something like a sax, right? Yeah, well, we're not going to get a... We're not going to get a great sax, but we can maybe create like a synth sax, you know? I love the Sakwachi. Flugel wave might work. Ah! French horn pitched around might be good. Okay, so let's go to tone B and edit that. This nasty waveform could work. In fact, let's pull that onto tone C as well. And then tone D, we'll do a square wave. octave down. Okay, and now let's pull all of those on. So going into the levels here, so this is interesting too. I can, with all of these off, I'm not affecting the level of anything. But what I can do is then control it over here for the individual layers. So sample all the way up. And now that we have like the blend we want, oh, that's a really good way to use this. Then on everything but tone A, which is the sample, we need to achieve blip. So, in fact, I'm going to only do it on one of the two oscillators. So these two will just take, and only on that one will we give it a little blip. Why is that one so low in level? Yeah, so that's how you achieve blip. I need to get a Steve Porcaro coked out of his mind emoji for sure. Let's try a narrower pulse width. That's good. That's nice. We can control the filter all at once. West, one thing. Silent Hill is both a video game, movie, comic book franchise. It's all of those things. The original Silent Hill was a PS1 game. Then Silent Hill 2, the most popular one, has just been remade for PS5 and everything. Best-selling Silent Hill ever now. So Silent Hill's bigger than it's ever been, but the original composer Akira Yamaoka used the JD800 to make the soundtrack. So that's what we're doing here tonight. Unfortunately, we have entered more into the trumpety territory than the saxophone. I suppose that's always a danger. velocity helps a sound like this. And of course, what would a Steve Porcaro chorus be if we, I'm sorry, brass if we didn't. Now in this case, it's a little much, so we can just bring that dry balance back a bit. So just like 20% effect, 80% dry sounds really good to my ears. We'd also use time velocity here. What that's going to do is the velocity affects how long the decay is. Little attack is important here. Without it, now I want to see how that sounds in the mix. We might darken it. Hopefully, let's just make sure we have a clean loop point here. So back into the DAW real quick so you can see what I'm doing here. Let's just solo this and make sure the loop's okay. Wouldn't know there's a cut there. So now we'll just duplicate that again, duplicating, and we're gonna call this brass. And let's go ahead and make sure we've written that. And let's drag this brass down into our section here. Let's take a second and just randomize the color of all of these so you guys could kind of sort of see what the tracks are a little bit better. Now let's route the brass to the echo and let's vibe. And just a little don't like it. I kind of like that vibe in there. So we basically have a track, but we need to sequence it out. So there's a few different ways we could go about doing this. An easy way, a cheater's way, which, you know, love a good cheat, is let's just copy and paste everything we have and then kind of just subtractively remove whatever we don't necessarily need, you know, something like that. And I should have fucking done something maybe more like this. There we go. So you guys can see what I'm doing here. Let's start by muting these drums and just see what the vibe's like. So I'm also gonna, from top to bottom for visual's sake, kind of move these around to where I think they might go. Now for me, brass might come, we need that drone. The drone's got to be the foundation of the track. And then the spooky pad on top of it. Then the drums, then the high pass sweep, then the icy piano, and then the brass maybe. So let's do this a different way. Let's mute everything. And I'm just using Alt-M in Reaper to select these items and mute everything. So here's just... Ooh, spooky pad's good, but it's a little... I want to get a little bit of mid-range in. Remember, Akira processed this stuff a lot. We get really quiet. Just that kind of that mid-rangey section. Oh man, maybe even lower. Yeah, right around 1,000. And then just a little bit. We'll bring it a little bit in. Ooh, a little bit of. Hopefully, we're doing okay. Now. Let's see how far that goes. Probably going to bring the drums in quickly. Now, we can bring in the high pass sweep here. And then, why don't we bring in the brass? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to solo this real quick and make a cut right there. That way I can mute this and we're just getting that first hit, just so we get that little bit of attack on that. Now let's see what the sequencing sounds like right now. And then we bring in the piano. Then we can look at what we take out as well. We'll do some filter modulation in here too. Let's pull out these here. Okay, so we got a lot of cool stuff happening. I'm going to do some real simple, I'm going to actually just use Reaper's built-in EQ. And I'm going to remove the lowest bands except for this high frequency shelf. And we're going to make this a low pass filter. And we're going to bring it up to, 24,000 kilohertz or something. And I'm going to hit actually F2. Usually that works. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Rename effects. Can I do that? Rename effects instance. Oh, it's popping up over here on my screen. There we go. We'll just call this high cut. And what we're going to do is simply go into the automation here and automate the frequency of the low pass. And we could just go in and kind of check this out. Yeah, we'll just start it off real quiet and we'll fade that in. So it's coming in. Actually, we'll have it fade in by here or so. And by using this little trick, we can add a little bit of interest. And then this goes down to 48. So we'll just, we can actually just copy and paste that point over here. So we've kind of created, so right at the end of the loop, it'll drop down here. And then we can do the same type of thing if we wanted on some of the other stuff as well. So let's just, I think I can just paste this in here. Paste effects. Oh, I didn't copy it. Let's go ahead and copy selected effects. And then high pass sweep. I'm just trying to add some movement in because right now the vibe is static and we want a very not static vibe. So what we can do with the high pass sweep is just the same exact idea, and we'll start kind of fading out that sweep just towards the end of that right there. We'll do the same thing with the piano. And draw in some automation there. That way we have just some movement. In fact, I think on this one, I'm going to make this go a little longer. Same thing over here. Why don't we do it with all of these? So we got a little bit more going on. And we'll just leave the brass where it is. I think the brass is cool. So now what we've done is we've effectively created a loop. And we just copy this over and it'll move all of our automation points too, which is great. And then we can just make sure that we don't have any weird jumps here. And the automation should be good. Yeah, I think that's right. And we have ourselves a little song. And what is that? That's probably... Is that how long is that? Fuck. Is that a 2-minute thing? I don't know. Something like that. So, an interesting vibe for sure tonight. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. I had fun making music, doing this sort of down-tempo, Akira-oriented stuff. I don't know. What did you guys think? Oh, my live stream's all fucked up. Am I still live streaming? Am I still good? That's why the chat froze. Fuck. Okay. I'm back with the chat, so that's good. So if anybody could just drop something in the chat real quick so that I can catch up with what I missed there. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. I enjoyed actually getting a chance to make some music in this style because I have so much respect for Akira Yamaoka, and I feel like I mention him all the time on this stream as a source of inspiration. Jack, can you recommend any good additive synths? No, because there aren't any, unfortunately. I owned a K5000S. That's going to be your best hardware synth that you can get. You usually get them for like $1,200 or so. I forgot what the street price is. We can look it up, actually. What is the current ranking on that? That would be street price of about $1,400, so a little expensive. But even that, though, has 16 real-time control knobs, which is better for tweaking than it is actually for the sound design. I hate to say it. I think actually the Kwai K3 has an editor that's pretty good for doing additive stuff. It's just one wave, though, with an analog filter. It's not. You can blend with Aftertouch between a pre-stored wave and an additive wave. You know, like a wavetable and an additive wave. Keith, do you have any recommendations for hardware synths? But for me, anyways, if you want to make additive sounds, I hate to say it, you're probably better off with some sort of software that does that really well. Because no one's really cracked the code on the hardware synth side, just because it was expensive enough to put all these faders on the JD800, and to be able to really make a hands-on additive synth would require something like 128 faders or something crazy like that. So that would probably be my recommendation, I think. Billy Bart, I'm glad that this conjured up those really hot, slutty nurses. That's good. That's a good question. I haven't messed around with it, so it probably could be. My go-to was always Camel Audio's Alchemy, which was actually based off the K5000 at first. It's now a Logic plugin, so I don't use it anymore. But back in the day, that's what I would use for additive synthesis. Omnisphere doesn't have it. I want to say Pigments and Falcon do. So, you know, maybe that would be, maybe Pigments might be something I dip my toes into the water with analog stuff. So anyways, guys, I think that's a good place to call it for tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for this one. If everything goes well, I'll have another stream on Leviathan with a twist, something interesting to make it more than that. Leviathan, not really. You've got 8 operators, and so that's like 8 op additive. So I used it to make my recreation of the organ pad sound from the intro of Where the Streets Have No Name by U2. But that's just 8 operator additive. You really need 64 or 128 to get that additive sound. Having said that, most additive sounds kind of sound like FM anyways. So there's reasons to maybe just consider doing those sounds with FM anyways, I guess is what I would say. Yeah. Sensonic, yeah, it'll be tomorrow. And it's going to be a super cool, if you're into an audio interface that has a touch screen, $500, I think it's a really great one. Really incredible preamps, beats out the specs on like Universal Audio's preamps and stuff like that, which is a pretty good thing. I really appreciated Hypothesis. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that should be next week, if everything is good. So with that, I'm going to close it out. Continue to be excellent, guys, and let's check out this track.